Hi, I'm William Shunn, Sarah's co-host at Tuesday Funk, and I'm very happy to introduce our next reader. He's a fiction writer, a blogger, a podcast narrator, and a graduate of the 2008 Clarion West Writers Workshop. His work has appeared in Beneath Ceaseless Skies, GUD, Podcastle, The Way of the Wizard, and others. He lives in New York, where he's a member of the Altered Fluid Writing Group. Please welcome Rajan Khanna.
Thanks, Bill and Sarah, for having me. I'm going to actually read the beginning of a story that appeared in the magazine GUD, otherwise known as Greatest Uncommon Denominator. I'll only get through the beginning, so you can either, if you'd like it, you can either buy the issue, or it's available for free from the website Podcastle, read by someone else other than me, which, depending on how this goes, might be a good thing. The story is called Doors. The door in the men's washroom leads to a secret world. Head past the stink of piss and shit, a smell you may one day come to regard fondly, and straight for the second stall from the right. Ignore the grunts of the man in the stall next to you. The door won't creak when it closes. It will fit smoothly into the frame. The tag is on the wall, a stick figure silhouette framed by a rectangle. It looks like a cross between a primitive cave painting and a European sign. The stage is set. Your heart beats like a rabbit's on speed. The anticipation crackles. You inhale deeply, activate the tag, then turn and open the door. For a sickeningly sweet instant, you are not. Your body tingles and fizzles away. Everything that you are becomes as intangible and tenuous as a cloud of smoke on a windy day. Revel in the moment, the non-being, before the tether snaps and you are vomited back into the universe. I hate that part. I appear in a garden shed, thick with must and the smell of mold. Sunlight filters through a small window in the roof. Scratches mar the wooden wall, lighter wood showing through against the darker grain. For a good time, call is carved into the wall. I pull out my notebook and take down the phone number. The door opens to the brilliant Australian sun. It was night when I crossed over. Text to Brody. Another one, bro. The sun beats down through a battered ozone layer and warms me through my winter sweater. I decide to find some fun before I move on. You will never find this world in a book. It is spelled out on the walls of washrooms, in janitors' closets and bomb shelters, in the scrawl on an alley wall. But only if you know where to look. There are maybe 100 people across the world who do. From the moment you find your first tag, you become a collector. Some people collect figurines or stamps or comic books. You collect locations. You're a gambling addict in $1 million game, a pothead with a giant brick of BC's finest, a sexaholic at a gangbang. I used to be in sex, like really kinky shit. You could tie me up and beat me with a riding crop and I'd be as happy as a pig in shit. Because in those moments, when someone was treating me like an object, I could switch off from bills and mortgages and loans and fucking laundry, push it to one side and let the pain wash it away. Fuck S&M, traveling is better. Fuck meditation, traveling is better. God help me, fuck sex, traveling is better. I never looked back. Not even when I found out it was killing Brody. Not even when I found out it was killing me. The man sitting across the table with the gold pinky ring and the cream-colored suit knows all about traveling. He sips something called a flat white. He is tall and black, his scalp shaved smooth. He cocks his head to one side. New Jersey, I say, United States. Yeah, fucking Jersey, if you'll believe it. I figure it will be an easy score. No one would want to hold on to that. But I need it, and I need it soon. He scrolls through the screen of his smartphone as I tap my fingers against the table, then shakes his head. I don't have what you're looking for, but I can give you a way forward. It's up the coast, in a town called Maroochydore, he says. It goes, I wave off the comment. He smiles. It's not uncommon in our circles not wanting to know. Part of the thrill is in not knowing. Now it's my turn to put up. I flip through the pages of the worn notebook, looking at my collection in all its untidy glory. Ink scrawls fill the lines, blue and black, a few in red. Mr. Flat White does want to know, wants something in Europe. I find one. A door from a dressing room in Los Angeles to a hotel broom closet in Amsterdam. It will do. He records the information carefully in his smartphone. Then he gives me the address in Maroochydore. We trust each other. Our circle is so small that you risk being cut out if you cross someone. No one wants that. I decided to spend a few days in Brisbane, then hit the beach before traveling out. It takes a lot out of you. You can't do too many too fast, and who would want to? The anticipation isn't necessary, but it sure does help. The days dissolve into a cycle of sun, waves, and sand. I wash my clothes in the sink at the oceanfront motel and eat fried fish by the bucket load. I text Brody from bed. It's morning in America. I send him a picture of the beach at sunset. He sends me back a picture of him in his hospital bed, propped up on pillows, hooked up to machines, giving me a thumbs up. It's rough. Brody's traveling days are through. He's stuck in a hospital bed every day, eating hospital food. No more endless breakfasts. Because that's what Brody liked to do, traveling the world in search of good eggs. As he liked to say, it's always breakfast somewhere. There aren't any tags in the hospital. Believe me, I've checked. Every time you travel, it takes a little more of you away. If a cigarette takes 7 minutes off your life, I figure that each trip takes 7 months, at least. The doctors call it all kinds of different names. Degenerative neural disease, systemic organ failure, whatever. We know it's from the traveling. You can spot it on the seasoned travelers. A tremor in their movements, a slight slurring of the speech, pain they massage away in their hands and arms and legs. I once met a guy who shit himself because of it. Luckily, it was in a bathroom. Yet we all keep doing it. I'd be shocked if I ever met anyone who'd stopped. Brody was my traveling guru after I quit my job at Evertech, after the cubicle and the corporate job, after the tie collection and the 2 pairs of business shoes, brown and black. When I met Brody, I was working as a hair boiler. Yeah, that's right, I boiled fucking hair for a living. Animal hair. Even with all the time I spend these days in toilets, that will always smell worse. The ghost of that stink haunts me. Take rotten eggs mixed with curry farts and multiply it by 10. You might get close. Brody was a hair boiling veteran, and after he showed me the ropes and we hit it off, I asked him how the hell he'd ended up there at the ass end of gainful employment. He was 15 or 20 years older than me, graying hair, beard like a biker. He'd been a guitar player in a band for a long time. Thought they had a shop. A real shop, mind you, not like your average garage band. Then fate pissed on his future. Brody found out he had this condition, something to do with his joints or his nerves or something. His hands were shot and he couldn't play guitar anymore. He was suicidal. But he knew this guy, this old bartender who used to book the band. This guy was a traveler. He even worked a bar that was tagged. He knew Brody needed something, otherwise he was going to do it, stick a gun in his mouth or hang himself or swallow a load of pills. So this old guy tells Brody about traveling, and suddenly Brody isn't suicidal anymore. Suddenly Brody realizes that he still has a future, and it's glorious. My method is a backpack filled with the following: 2 shirts, pants, some underwear, hiking boots, a sweater, an umbrella, and a bag of weed, among other essentials. I also have the notebook, small set of tools, and a world phone. A bag of weed isn't necessary, but it's an easy way to make money. That's one thing about the doors. There are no border guards, no drug-sniffing dogs. I picked up some stuff from Thailand, too, some really weird shit that I offload where I can. A world phone isn't necessary, but it sure does help. In the old days, travelers would find each other by ads in certain newsletters or international newspapers. These days, things are different. You've no doubt seen some of our phone numbers. For a good time call, great Chinese food, best blowjobs ever, massages with happy endings. Some of these are real numbers, people trying to prank their friends, but most of them are us. All it takes is a little persistence and a working phone, and you can get another traveler on the line in no time. Sometimes you need to, especially when you're in a strange place without the proper money to get you where you want to go. Sometimes, though, that's part of the fun. I managed 3 days before I'm headed for the next tag. 3 fucking days. I used to be able to manage a week, maybe more. The ride up the coast alternates between stretches of beach and housing. I wonder what it would be like to live there, so close to the sand and the sea. The idea is strangely distasteful. It seems so sedentary, so restricted. The road leads to Maroochydore, but my journeys no longer have destinations, only waypoints. Each place becomes a doorway to another. The sun is starting to set as I reach the address the man gave me. It's a washroom and shower just off the beach. Tags are always in places like that, small spaces with doors and privacy. How often are you going to have someone barge in on you while you're in a stall? Travelers keep the doors working well, oiled up and with working latches. It's in our best interest. There's a rumor floating around that one of the tags is in an airplane laboratory. Some old plane that's been around since the 70s. I don't believe it, but how cool would that be? In the air, 30,000 feet above the surface of the earth, and you step out into nothingness. I pull out my phone and dial Brody. It's become our little ritual. I call him before I go through. It gives him some kind of thrill. something to think about other than his body failing. I tell him where I am and what I'm about to do. He gives a chuckle that sounds like gravel crunching, and then starts coughing. How do you feel, I say. Like hell, he says. I hear the beeps and clacks of machinery behind him. They give me painkillers, but they don't seem to work. I wish I had some weed. I'll bring you some, I say. Talk to you later. The washroom is empty. It's getting dark and the sun worshippers have already left. The air smells of the sea and that funky sulfur odor you get at the beach. It reminds me of boiling hair, but not nearly as bad. My sandals crunch on the sand of the floor. It's the stall all the way against the right wall, my favorite kind. The walls are shiny and metallic, no paint. Inside, it smells of suntan lotion and cleaning products. At eye level, on the left stall wall, is a deeply scratched message that reads, "For some deep dicking, call." I write the number down in my notebook. I want to do it. Activate the tag now and step through, but in this moment, the anticipation is so keen, I ride it like I will soon ride that other moment. That single glorious moment where I am, for just a fraction of a second, outside of creation. In that moment, I lose myself. I am nothing. And that is everything to me. Thanks.